I'm so glad we're finally here. We've been doing this for 1 year. Jerry, it felt like the last time I emailed you till now I've been doing this. Okay, so I guess the stage details are now on.
Anywhere I go, mo láti padà sílé mi. 'Cause mama mi wọ́n wà nílé mi. I know one me person them.
I just got a new job.
Me say too lazy. Olúwa bọ́lá ọ̀flẹ̀lẹ́ni. As I dey hustle, like I dey bayo okun lazy. No go talk, say me I too lazy. Anywhere I go, mo láti padà sílé mi. 'Cause mama mi wọ́n wà nílé mi. Funkilla. I go show you wonder what you wonder. You not go believe what you want happen. No disturb us when the bad do one catch you. Like you dey sleep, but this one pass. I think that do not start 100. From your feet to love 100. With somebody that I 100. 'Cause I'm feeling it in my soul. Nothing is changing, nothing your best. Something is scratch, don't be like that. Bye, bye, bye. Anywhere I go, mo láti padà sílé mi. 'Cause mama mi wọ́n wà nílé mi. I know one me person tell me say too lazy. Olúwa bọ́lá ọ̀flẹ̀lẹ́ni. As I dey hustle, I dey bayo okun lazy. Lóko tán, ṣe mi I too lazy. Anywhere I go, mo láti padà sílé mi. 'Cause mama mi wọ́n wà nílé mi. I go show you wonder what you wonder. You no go believe what you want happen. No disturb us when the bed do one catch you. Like you dey sleep, but this one pass you. Hunger. I think that you just start 100. From your feet to love somebody that I 100. 'Cause I'm feeling it in my soul. Something is changing, nothing your best. Something is scratch, don't be like that. Bye, bye, bye.
Hello, everyone. Hello, my name is Goranka Trifkovic, and welcome to the very second 24-hour Global Peace Conference hosted by the Rotary Peace Fellow Alumni Association. And today,
Garanka, can we just wait for a few more minutes because some people still trying to come in?
Oh, yes, we are. Yeah. Welcome to those of you that are here. How about we play the audio again? They're waking up. That's right. No problem. So what we'll do is we'll play this. Can we play this song again? And then we'll get started. We'll give people a few more minutes to join in.
Cause my mommy want to let me. I don't want me person tell me say I'm too lazy. Oluwa bona of leleni. As I dey hustle, I dey buy your okun lazy. No go talk, say me I'm too lazy. Anywhere I go, mo lati pada sílé mi. Cause my mommy want to let me. Killer. I go show you wonder, what you wonder. You not gonna believe what you want to have. No disturbance when the bed do one catch you. Like you dey sleep, but this one pass. Hunger. I think bed do just start 100. From your feet to love and with somebody that I want you. Cause I'm feeling it in my soul. Something is changing, nothing your face, change. Something they scratch, don't be like that.
Hello again, everyone. Hello. My name is Goranka Trifkovic. Welcome to the very second 24-hour Global Peace Conference. I understand that there's a whole bunch of people who are on the Hopin platform. If you're on Hopin, please click on the Zoom link so you can join us in the room. We will be having breakout sessions later on in this opening plenary. So once you join Zoom, you'll be able to join the breakout sessions and participate with everybody together. I just want to say thank you for being here. This Peace Conference is being hosted by the Rotary Peace Fellows Alumni Association. And today we really have come together to weave a shared future together. And I am very, very excited about the program that we have organized for you today over the next 24 hours. Now, before we proceed, we will be recording and live streaming this session for those who can't watch it live. And if you don't wish to be recorded or seen, please feel free to turn your video off. Also, if you have low bandwidth, turning off the video will prioritize your audio. Now, in terms of our programming, to give you a taste, we have the survivors of the Nagasaki atomic bomb sharing their message of hope. We have Lily, a 13-year-old environmental activist, sharing about how she convinced the Thai government and corporates to reduce their use of single-use plastics. We have an interactive cooking show and skills-based workshops on crowdfunding 101 and how to tell better stories for impact. We're also going to have a keynote delivered by Professor Chaiwat Satha Anand on breathing the others, seeing the lives. It's a reflection on 21st century nonviolence. Before we continue though, past District Governor of Rotary, Jerry Norman from New Zealand, will take us through a virtual Maori Pōwhiri to mark the coming together of the many cultures and peoples from around the world who are joining us in this conference. He will do so in a short speech and in song. And in response, Dr. Michael Lickers from Six Nations of the Grand River, Canada, will represent the other end of the globe, which will be ending, our conference in 24 hours time. This Pōwhiri is an important peace-building ritual for us today, as it connects all of our attendees from the 128 countries or so through space and time. I now hand over the screen to Jerry Norman.
Thank you very much. Kia ora koutou, me karakia tātou.
Greetings, everyone. Let the karakia begin.
Aiyo ki te aorangi. Aroha ki te aorangi. Koa ki te aorangi. Pono ki te aorangi.
Peace to the universe, love to the universe, joy to the universe, truth to the universe.
Ke tau te kahukura, hihi ko te wairua, here kore ki kawe, I te tika me te pono.
May the violet flame ignite the spirit of the creative freedom to uphold justice and truth always.
He tohu tēnei o te ao whānui, he maumahara ki te whaia Papa Tuanuku.
This is a gift of love to the whole world. It is a token of our sincere regard, Papa Tuanuku, Earth Mother.
Aiyo ki te rangi, ki te tai ao, ki te tangata.
Let peace forever reign in the heavens, in our natural environment, and in humanity.
Whano, whano, haere mai te toki, haumi e, hui e, taiki e.
Let peace forever reign in the, let us engrave these words for eternity, where we are united in the conscious thought.
E hara, I te mea no mai ane, te aroha no ngā, tupu nai tuku iho, I tuku iho, whakapono, Manako te aroha I te iwi no ngā Una I tuku iho, I tuku iho. Whakarongo, whakarongo, whakarongo. Whakarongo ki ngā ripotai e kauri atu e te mano tini.
Listen, listen, listen to the surging tides traversed by the multitudes.
Te hunga kua hoki ki toa, I te ara wairua ki toa tai rai, ngā roi mataroa kua maringi mai nei.
To our ancestors who have travelled to the spiritual pathway to beyond the horizon of the living, teardrops of love flow for you all.
Ka mau te tonu te pūmahara, ma momo rangatira awa nehera.
Let us always remember the noble ones of times long past.
Nā rātou I toro te nukuroa o Moana Nui, me Papatua Nuku.
Who explored the unimaginable expanse of the many oceans and settled Mother Earth's many lands.
Ko ngā tohu o ngā tapu ai, o rātou tapu ai, I kākahauti e tirunga te mato o te whenua.
For their footprints close these lands of ours.
Ngā akoranga I tua ia I ki te whenua, he taonga he tapu, he taonga he tapu.
And their teachings are etched in the soil, a sacred legacy, a treasured inheritance.
Takoto ai o e ngā rangatira ki te ao mamai kore.
Rest in peace, noble ones, in that pain-free world.
E moe te moingoro o toi orangi.
Sleep the everlasting sleep in the highest heaven.
Ka huri taku reo ki te hunga ora.
I turn my voice to the living.
E te rangatira, e takuta Michael, te iwi moho, o ukai pō, tēnā rau atu koe.
Noble one, Dr. Michael Lickers from the Mohawk Nation, from the Six Nations, sincere greetings.
E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā rangatira o ngā hau e whā.
All authorities, courageous voices, noble ones from the four winds.
Tēnā koutou, katoa ko hono mai mo tēnei hui ai o a ao.
Greetings to you all who have come together for this global peace conference.
Ngā mihi nui ki ngā taimihi tangata, ngā whenua maha me o koutou whānau.
I acknowledge the people from the many tides, from the many lands, and from all your families.
Tukua mai o kororo honu ki arere mo te ai o, ke tū te ai ao, ao te pō, pō te ao.
Let the depth of your discussions create realities for everlasting peace.
Tukua mai o kororo mo te tai ao, ke rere te oranga mo te tangata mo te ai o.
Let your discussions embrace our environment, for therein lies the foundations for humanity and peace.
Ke tau te rangi mari o te rangi e tui hoa nei, o papa tukunuku e takoto ake nei, o te ao rangi e awhi nei e tātu katoa ki are I ngā tini kōrero.
Let the peace of the heavens above, of Mother Earth below, of the universe embrace us all and guide our critical discussions.
Ora tai ao, ora tangata I ai o.
When our environment is pristine, human potential is endless and peace is imminent.
Nau mai, haere mai, piki mai.
I bid you welcome, welcome, welcome.
Tihei mauri ora.
I sneeze the breath of life.
A te kahura karere te manu. Karere koe. Ka tai atu koe ki te taumata. Whakatau mai rā e. Maua ngā taku aroha, whai atu I ngā whetū. Rere tō tika rere pai, e runga rawara e. pura kārere te manu. Kārere koe. Ka tai atu koe ki te taumata. Whakatau mai rā e. Mau ana taku aroha, whaia ke unga whetū. Rere tō tika rere pai, rere runga rawara e. Rere tō tika rere pai, rere runga rawara e. Rere tō tika rere pai, rere runga rawara e. Nā reira tēnā koutou katoa, ka tukuna te rākau kōrero ki ngā haumuhi tangata.
Greetings to you all. I now pass the talking staff off to the connecting winds of humanity.
Sayego, Senagoa, and great peace to you all. Kia ora, Jerry and Faye, my brother and sister from the other side of the pond. I gift you and always honor this special gift that my friend Graham Tippin left with me. And so I honor your people and your voice and such an amazing, beautiful, open, and welcome to all of us. So thank you for that. Nyawangoa. The song that I will respond to you with is an encouragement song from the Confederacy of the Blackfoot people here in Treaty 7 territory. And as I've participated in their ceremonies over the last 20 years, this is one of the songs that always inspires me every time I need to have that encouragement to go on to the great challenges and great mysteries of the world. No, my friends, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you all over in Turtle Island and the Caribbean, where we will once again meet. And Jerry and Faye, I hope one day I get a chance to see you, my friends. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the conference. Be well, be safe. Onagawahe.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks, Jerry, for that lovely blessing. Now, to set the scene for the rest of the conference, I would like to invite Elaine Prattley, the co-chair of the Global Peace Conference, to say a few words.
I'm sorry. I think there's a response that Jerry will be giving right now, and after that, I'll continue. Yes.
Okay, Jerry, back over to you.
Thank you. We'll just close this part off. Mō te rā e kaue mai I ngā ngoi, I ora, I ora.
May the sun bring you energy every day.
Mā te marama e whakaora I a koe I wainga pō.
May the moon softly restore you in the middle of the night.
Mā te ua e horoi o maharahara tai maha.
May the rain wash away your burdens.
Mā te hau e pupui I te pākuakua ki roto I tō tinana.
May the wind blow new strength in your being.
I roto I o hikoitanga I ngā hau e whā o te ao. Ka whakaara koe I te humari e a tāhua rawa.
As you walk the four winds on this earth and contemplate its beautiful, peaceful stillness.
Ao te pō, pō te ao.
Every day and every night.
Tihei mauri ora.
I sneeze the breath of life.
He whakatauki Māori.
A Māori proverb.
He marama ta tēnā whetū, ta tēnā whetū.
Each star has its own luminescence and presence in the universe.
Ngā mihini nui kia koutou katoa.
Sincere greetings once again to you all.
Ka tau. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Jerry. Thank you. Okay, so now before I hand over back to Elaine, I just wanted to remind those of you who are on the Hopin platform, please look to the top right-hand corner of the Hopin platform. There you will find the Zoom link to join this session, because shortly after Dr. Chaiwat's presentation, we'll be joining breakout rooms to reflect on his presentation. So please, we invite you to join that Zoom link if you haven't already joined. And now I'd like to hand it over to the co-chair of the conference, Elaine.
Kia ora from Australia. My name is Elaine Prattley, and along with Stacey Martin, who is also on the Zoom chat today, we are your Rotary Peace Fellows and co-chairs for today's 24 Hours Global Peace Conference. I am based in Melbourne, but today we have over 1,800 registrants joining us from 131 countries so far, and that's around 17 time zones. So a very warm welcome to you all. A few hours ago, I met with some of my youth speakers and facilitators for the Youth Leading the Charge panel. My youngest speaker is 13, and my youngest breakout room facilitator is 12. They're from South Korea, Nepal, India, Japan, Australia, Thailand, and they were absolutely amazing. They came up with better questions than I posed for our breakout rooms. And it was just amazing to spend that time with these young people before this conference actually began. And when I told them that people were coming to see them, you could just see in their eyes that their hearts were just bursting, and they were like, coming to see us? I said, yeah, they're coming to see you. And this, as a conference organizer, is why we are doing this conference. We have spent thousands of hours preparing for today in the background. And the reason we do that is because we want to remind people that they have value. And it's such a gift and honor to make this happen today. And I'm so glad that they gave me this reminder to start me off, to remind me why I'm doing this. Today we come together as people of many ages, languages, cultures to weave a shared future together. As peace builders, we felt this metaphor of weaving was very appropriate for us. It's this idea of vibrant colored threads coming together to produce a really beautiful tapestry that will keep us warm. I know the events of the last few years might make this metaphor or this dream seem rather unrealistic at times. But as peace builders, we don't give up, and we maintain that hope. We're not naive as well. We do not seek a world where everyone agrees and is the same. We don't just want black tapestries or purple tapestries. We love vibrant tapestries, different tapestries. We accept that difference is a fact of life. As peace builders, we believe there are wonderful ways to transform conflict into growth while still making everyone feel accepted and valued. As a peace builder, and as for many of you here today, that is the heart of peace building, to help people come across difference, to realize our common humanity, which is, I believe, at the core, our desire to be valued and to flourish. So this year's conference is the second Rotary Peace Fellow Conference, Global Peace Conference that we've put on of this scale. And even so, for second year running, we have 1,800 people as of this very moment, and still many people registering. When this organizing team first conceived of this idea, we wanted to bring regional voices from around the world. So we have, even in our organizing team, people from Kenya, Colombia, India, Japan, Turtle Island. We are a multicultural, multilingual, global team with different personalities and different temperaments. So hopefully today's conference is proof that differences can be galvanized for innovation and growth. Our conference is not an academic conference where peace experts are speaking to you in a unilateral way. We want two-way conversation. Our emphasis is on dialogue, which is why we have gone through extreme lengths to make breakout rooms happen today. So today I invite you to join us on this journey as we lean towards each other and continue to weave a shared future together. We have opportunities to transform our differences into new ways of doing things. We have diverse voices, speakers of different ages. We are translating some of our sessions into Hindi, Spanish, and Portuguese. And we have tried to give the platform and to show peace builders are musicians, entrepreneurs, and poets as well. So I hope, and we all hope, sincerely hope, that when you leave today, that you leave confident that everyone has the potential to build peace. So do make the most of today. We have over 50 workshops, skill-based workshops and sessions squeezed into 24 hours, musical performances from Iraq, Cambodia, India, to name a few. So have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. Chaiwat Satha Anand. He is a distinguished professor of political science at the Thammasat University in Thailand. His works have been published in both Thailand and abroad, and some of his writings have been translated into several languages. Among other things, Professor Satha Anand is also chairperson of the Strategic Nonviolence Commission, Thailand Research Fund, director of a Peace Information Center, Foundation for Democracy and Development Studies, academic advisor. He's on the International Center for Nonviolent Conflict, Washington, D.C. He is known among alumni from our Rotary Peace Center at Chulalongkorn University as one of our inspiring faculty members. So it really is a privilege to have him here today. Thank you so much for being here with us. And I'm going to hand over to him for our opening plenary speech, which you'll get a chance to reflect on in the breakout sessions. And again, just a reminder for those of you on Hopin, please do join the Zoom link so that you can participate in the breakout sessions. Back to you, Chaiwat.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank the Rotary Alumni Association for this honor that has given me a chance to share with you some of my thoughts about the thing that I have been thinking about for a long time. This presentation actually is a long time in the making. But then I was a little scared because Elaine spoke more than once that saying that this is not an academic meeting, and I am an academic, as you know. So it a little bit scares me off. But she also provides some hope for me, and she said if there is some glitch, just smile and see what happens. So that's a good thing. Let me also thank Stacy Martin, Rukmini Iyer, and Spencer Liang for all kinds of technical support behind the scene. I know how much you have worked for this to make it happen the way it has. And also, respectfully, I really appreciate Jerry and Michael for the beautiful invocation. It makes this all sacred and global. Uh, Let me go to what I plan to say. I have prepared my PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint can be shared with you, all of you. Okay, can you see? Can you see, Elaine?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. This when Jerry was making his invocation, I noticed he was talking about the breathing as important connection of human beings, if I understand you correctly. And this presentation is about breathing the others, seeing the lives, a reflection on 21st century nonviolence. And I would like to begin with Pope Francis' question. Pope Francis' question that he gave in Lampedusa, Italy, July 8, 2013. Lampedusa is an important point because it's North Africa's gateway to Europe. It's the destination to the world's deadliest migration route, since more than 20,000 have lost their lives trying to cross the Mediterranean from Africa to Europe. Now, in his speech, the Pope has asked this question: has any one of us grieved for the death of these brothers and sisters? And this question, I consider an invitational rhetoric. By that I mean it could result in a possibility that the audience would emerge from the question, if we think about it deeply, feeling unsettlingly empowered, because rhetoric also contains within it an ability to make everything seem strange while revealing insights that have been hidden in dominant cultures one lives in, namely beneath the symptom of globalization of indifference. This is the Pope's answer. Why cannot we grieve? And he said this is because we live in an age of globalization of indifference. He suggested this lies the way we think about ourselves that makes it difficult, if not impossible, for to grieve for others. Now, this talk is an attempt to show you that it is difficult to engage the Pope's question precisely because of the dominant epistemic belief. Now, I know this jargon a little bit, but you have to bear with me, you know. I am an academic after all. Um, Belief in thinking, put it in a nutshell, it's the way we think that caused the problem. And then it advanced a critique of the dominant understanding of being humans. Why I want to propose an alternative epistemic ground based on breathing. Now, this new ground, if you will, is based on two very different religious inspirations, namely Buddhism and Islam. It doesn't mean that only Buddhism and Islam has these inspirations, as you have heard what Jerry had invoked in his beautiful prayers at the opening of this session, and many others, Hinduism, Sikhism, and others. But I chose Buddhism and Islam for because of my association with both religion, and as a Muslim myself. Now, the talk will conclude with a reading of a case of people who have nonviolently risked their lives to save the forest in India as an illustration of how people can move beyond the dominant mode of being and nonviolently fought and violently fight for a more ecologically peaceful world. Now, walking through this thesis, there are 4 questions that join this thesis together. In other words, this is the logic that I use in formulating this whole presentation. The first is this: what is the prevalent way of thinking about how ecological disaster could be avoided and a just and peaceful society created as reflected in popular culture? I think popular culture is extremely important because it shapes the mind of the young and the old at the same time. It's global. So we will begin with popular culture. Then the second question is what kind of foundational idea exists which makes it possible for such imaginations to flourish in popular culture? I would argue that this is because popular culture, you talk about comics, you talk about music, you talk about theaters, movies, and what have you. There are certain ideas within, but that foundational idea needs to be unpacked so that we see how it influences the others. This is the colonizing idea that we can talk about. The third question is there an alternative mode of being human that could be considered a possible philosophical replacement of the dominant one? Now, to fight against that colonizing dominant idea, maybe we need an alternative. So we have to explore that. Now, the fourth question is, apart from philosophical rumination, does the world of practices offer any real-life example of how such philosophical shift could possibly manifest itself? So following these 4 questions, this is my logic of thoughts, and then we will go through with this 25 minutes of presentation. Make it more concise, this whole presentation can be summarized into 4 words: snapping, thinking, breathing, and hacking. Again, snapping, thinking, breathing, and hacking. So the 4 questions can be answered with these 4 words, and I will elaborate on these 4 words. The first one, snapping. Many of you who are fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe recognize this guy. He is Marvel's villains, Thanos. Thanos is a titan, you know. He's an alien, and he's full of power and strategic powers and all that. But what is important is that in the 20 films of Marvels, he is the power behind, he's the villain behind. But Thanos is very important. What he wants is that he wants a better universe. And his idea is that the universe is in a shambles because there's too much lives in it. So what he wanted to do is that he wanted to acquire these infinity gems so that he can wage his infinity wars and go to the end game, meaning killing half of the lives in the universe. So this is what Thanos is wanted to do. He believes that the existing resources could no longer sustain the ever-increasing population who depend on them. After he was successful in wiping out half of the universe to bring back the balance between population and natural resources, he retired to watch the sunrise again, while an ungrateful universe reaps the rewards. So that's Thanos' idea, and that's the end game, you know, that we are talking about. Of course, Marvel did not stop there, and Marvel stopped by Marvel Heroes 1 at the end. But Thanos' idea is very important. And Thanos is not alone in the popular culture. If you look at the novel best-selling novel by Dan Brown, Inferno, Dan Brown also talks about the geneticist villain Bertrand Sobrist, who wanted to. He's a geneticist who is fascinated with Dante's Inferno, and he designs a plague virus that would make 1/3 of the world population infertile in order to solve the imminent doomsday caused by the world's overpopulation. So all of this popular culture, you see people trying to solve the world's problem by cutting the world in half. And many of you who are activists and academics here remember Susan George's fierce satire, The Lugano Report. The Lugano Report is a satire of capitalism, and it came up with a horrible suggestion from the capitalist side, saying that one way to do that is to kill off population, to reduce population, and then we will save holy capitalism. Now, the question that I have is these comics, these Marvel Universe or Dan Brown or whatever that you talk about is not alone. It was built on a long philosophical and academic understanding. For example, Thomas Malthus' essay on the principle of population was talking about that. The production of food goes linear, and the population is exponential, and therefore it will never catch up. Population will rise, and then there will not be enough food. And if you read Malthus, his apocalyptic understanding of the world is so horrible in the sense that nothing will match this. The tide of population growth will eventually destroy lives in the universe, not the universe, lives in the world. But then when you look at world population rise until 2100, in 1990 it was 5.3 billion. Actually, if you go back a century, in early 1900, it was only 1 billion. So within a century, it moves to 5.3 billion. Then from 1990 to 2015, it rose to 7.3 billion. That's where we are right now. Okay, so that poses all kinds of problems, even for country with best practice. How are we going to deal with this situation? How are we going to deal with migration coming from running away from poverty, from starvation and all that, for trying to find a better life in different lands? And so this all kinds of problem arises. This dominant view, what is this dominant view? Now we go to thinking. That's the snapping. And now we go to why snapping is, for those of you who did see the movie, because Thanos snapped the fingers and half of lives in the universe perish. Those of you who are 12 in this gathering will understand what I'm talking about. Those who are beyond 50 may not. Now, this dominant view means an outlook which has to some extent colonized the common sense of our civilization. To understand this world, now you imagine a picture of an agent who is, in perceiving the world, take in bits of information from their surrounding and then process them in some fashion in order to emerge with the picture of the world they have. Who then act on the basis of this picture to fulfill their goals through a calculus of means and ends. Now, this thinking is quite interesting because if you subject everything to a calculus of means and ends, you have to have a way in which you will think about yourself in relation to the world. But the thinking activity that dominates the world is the thinking activity of the person as a disengaged actor that defines one as being human. Now, I'm talking about Descartes, René Descartes, who tried to come up with a philosophical idea of who a human person or what constitutes the existence of a human person. And in his idea, the things that constitute the human person is the thinking. So he elegantly enshrined this renowned philosophical formulation in Latin, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. All of you have known that. But this, I think, therefore I am, I would say, is the I who is disengaged from the world. Is an I who is almost in a cage, is an I who is in a box like that. And then you think about it, and then that's where you are. Now, there are many ways to criticize or to critique this notion of Descartes. I think, therefore I am, or the notion of the human beings as a thinker. You can go to Charles Peirce in the 1800s, or Martin Heidegger or whatnot, but I would not waste your time with that. I would to go to Alcoholic Anonymous as a way to critique Descartes. Now, in analyzing the ways alcoholics try to achieve sobriety, Gregory Bateson found the acceptance of the Cartesian dualism works as he called it, disabling ontological orientation for them due to the commitment to a radical separation between mind and body. And this is very Descartes. Influenced by the Cartesian thinking process, they end up in a risk-taking behavior with a self-destructive personal ethic. Bateson maintains that the failure of alcoholics is the result of a wrongful local epistemology, and that it was Cartesian thinking process that has produced such a disabling beliefs about the nature of the self and its relationship to the world. Now, when you reject the Cartesian mode of thinking, the alternative mode is AA, Alcoholic Anonymous. Now, AA session made in a circle with other alcoholics who would then later share their own stories. But whatever their stories, they always begin with their name. I am Shaivat Sathanan, and then follow. My name is Shaivat Sathanan. I am an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. Huh? I don't drink. But that's what the AO procedure is. So that statement, it could be argued, the success of AA's method, and you know that this is successful around the world, lies with the fact that its member does not try to win over alcoholism within his or her mind by constantly testing oneself to achieve victory. That's the Descartes, or that's the Cartesian understanding, mind over body. But by admitting defeat in the context of trusted relationship with others. Now that I think is absolutely important to understand that there's a problem with the Cartesian mode of thinking. And if you look at this, then first you admit the defeat, and then you admit the defeat in the middle of a trusted relationship with others. It's the relationship with others that help you live with this defeat easier. Now we go to the third part, breathing. Now in Buddhism, when you think of breathing, you think of Buddhism. Buddhism is one of the most well-known and popular and practical examples of meditation connected with the body is called the mindfulness of, or awareness of, in and out breathing. In Pali, it is anapanasati. The focus of this mental exercise is to concentrate one's mind on one's breathing in and out. This is interesting. My physician friend said that most of the time, you think you breathe, but you do not. You inhale and you exhale very briefly. You did not really breathe. Breathe is, to your stomach, and then let it come out slowly. You understand? But the breathing you do is at the nose, actually. It's not really breathing. And so you do not get the oxygen, to talk about science for a moment. You do not get the oxygen the brain needs to have the whole body function properly. And this we have done most of the time in our lives. And that's why meditation and to focus on in and out breathing becomes very important. Now, the focus of this mental exercise is to concentrate one's mind on one's breathing in and out to the point when one's mind is totally concentrated on it. Now, through training in breathing, practitioners will regain the ability to see the truth of impermanence. Why? Because in Buddhism, life is suffering. Huh? And this suffering comes from this idea that life is impermanent. Everything is permanent. It is impermanent. And the suffering comes out because we thought things that are impermanent are permanent, and we attach ourselves to it. And so but in order to see the truth of impermanence and thereby enable Buddhists to discover that their attachment to the self is a futile effort. This is actually a major cause of all human suffering. Think for a moment of, my hair, if anything is left, is all white. Many of you here have some white. But do you remember the first time when you recognized the first white hair? You remember what you did that day? Did you pluck it out? What happened? Or you try to make it again golden or brown or green or whatever your hair color is in the end. But that is a reminder of life, that you get old one day, right? Everyone in this room gets old one day, no matter what you do, no matter how great or small, no matter what kind of achievement. Even if you sit still, you will get old, And so birth, getting old, getting sick, and pass on. This is a fact of life, which is that the suffering comes when we attach ourselves to it. We resented it, and then we refuse to allow that to unfold in our reality. So with this newfound understanding, detached from the egotistical self, from this breathing in and out, the being that emerged will be able to reconnect with the world in a new way, a lighter person, liberated from attachment to things in the world. Now you can then look at the world and work for the world from different ways. You can work at it as an attached person, or you can work at it as a detached person. Be kind to it, liberated in that way. So the world will become lighter, and your burden also. I would argue, however, that for the human agent who thinks, no matter how isolated or concentrated he or she is, a realistic philosophical assumption will have to also assume that the thinking agent is alive. To be alive means to be able to breathe. But there are different ways to imagine a human being who breathes as a replacement to the unrealistic, disengaged self trapped in a Cartesian wall doing the thinking in isolation. Put another way, even if you do your thinking in isolation, you have to breathe, So breathing is much more fundamental in that sense. From Buddhist exercise in concentrated breathing, the being who emerged will reconnect with the world, care for the world, and act in the world framed by the language of detachment in pursuit of cessation of sufferings born from the illusion of attachment. Now, if you go from Buddhism to Islam, as I said, there's many other faith-based understanding in the world, but due to the constraint of time and my understanding or my little bit of knowledge about religion, I just wanted to pick these two and then share it with you. In Islam too, breathing is what makes us human. But while the preferred Buddhist language is that of detachment, in Islam, it is through remembering how humans are connected to God in a most profound sense that makes us humans and different from other living beings. This is from the Holy Quran. This is Surah 32, verse 7 to 9. And the Holy Book says this, God says, thus he begins the creation of man out of clay. In the Judeo-Christian Islamic religion, faith, you have this understanding that God creates human beings out of clay. But this is a little bit more elaborated. then he causes him to be gotten out of the essence of a humble fluid. And then he forms him in accordance with what he is meant to be and breathe into him his spirit. And thus, O men and women, he endows you with hearing and sight and feelings as well as minds. Now, there are scholars in the field of Islam who believes that this verse is but a metaphor. This verse is but a metaphor. I don't think so. I think this is much more than that. But I want to explain something further. What you have here in this verse, you have a connection between the clay, you know, a lowly substance, if you will, and then the breath of the Almighty, the noblest in this understanding. So you fuse the two, and then you have the human. In this way, the human is unique, as different from the angel or Satan or whatever have you. In that sense, in that sense, it's fascinating to look at humans in that way. In the act of creation, God breathes life into humans, and so they themselves breathe, I would argue. For the human, to breathe is the act of living. But what does he or she breathe? In the physical world, now be realistic, what do you breathe when you breathe? Huh? So in the physical world, in the company of other humans, is that the dust of life from the others that he or she is breathing in. Breathing the others in, as we share the same source of lives, they can be seen and heard like the precious life that we all are. Hearing and seeing other humans would therefore enable him and her to feel how they are. And as a result, caring for them, grieving for them, the purpose question becomes a distinct possibility. Now, I can go to all kinds of argument to support this, but we are now in a pandemic. And the reason why we have to wear the mask is because of this breathing. We are not only breathing, we are breathing the others. The problem is I have 5 more minutes. I was checking myself. I'll finish within 5 more minutes. We have the pandemic, and we are now going everywhere with mask. You know, in many countries, if you don't wear mask, you are fine or whatever. But that is also because we are breathing in lives of the others. We have to learn to be careful about ourselves, not only about ourselves, but about caring for others as well. So this pandemic is teaching us that in a very strange way. Now, this transformation of being, I would argue, is the result of replacing the philosophic cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am, which has trapped humans in a Cartesian world with, and this is my suggestion, spiro ergo sum. I breathe, therefore I am. Breaking down the Cartesian wall to breathe in the others in the context of the natural world, one emerges with a sense of how it is the wind of life that connects us all. Now, the conclusion. In his latest book on how humans are killing the planet Earth with the reckless use of natural resources without care, the book is called Falter. Bill McKibben, the ecologist and activist, suggests that assuming that humans are capable of working together to reverse the damage already done, there are two technologies that could be deployed. And I was surprised to read that the first technology, that one I am not, is the photovoltaic solar panel. That I understand McKibben. But the second one is nonviolent. Is nonviolent protest, it is nonviolent struggle. That's coming from McKibben. It's quite interesting. Nonviolent protest and resistance. That makes us go to hugging. I met Sundarlal Bahuguna years ago, and I wanted to dedicate this talk also to him because he passed away last month. He was one of the leaders of the Chipko movement. And the Chipko movement is a movement of women and girls from Rainy village in Chamoli district in India who saved their forests from felling. It reflects the connectivity between ecological justice and nonviolent action. When Gaura Devi, the person you saw there, stood in front of the trees marked for felling, she told the men, the woodcutters who came, brothers, this forest is the source of our livelihood. If you destroy it, the mountain will come tumbling down onto our village. She then placed herself between the trees, as you can see, um, and the men prepared to cut them down. Some of the men were armed. She said, this forest nurtures us like a mother. You will only be able to use your axe on it if you shoot me first. Despite abuse and threats, the women refused to move. The lumbermen, also from Himachal Pradesh, understood the message. After a 3-day standoff, the woodcutter withdrew. Now, we don't know why the woodcutter withdrew. There are many theories about this. They might stop because they did see the woman hacking the trees. They might think that, these women are their relatives or what have you. But I want you to imagine this. What if the woodcutter saw, what the woodcutter saw was the portrait of lives protecting lives? What if what they saw, I'm talking about the woodcutter, not the women who protecting the trees. The trees were precious because they are sustainers of human lives in the equality of beings. While standing, they might hold their breath sometime, the woodcutter, but normally they breathe. And when they breathe, the air they breathe was suffused with beings of the protesters and the forest and the insects and everything, the environment, so that they breathe in the others who have then become parts of themselves. Seeing the lives, breathing the others, inform the choice they made not to harm the people who try to protect the forest. Perhaps in a profound sense, this is how nonviolent action works in the continuing difficult fight to preserve Mother Earth and all lives in it. Now, this is based on my chapter that was published in a book by Joseph Camilleri and Deborah Guest, Palgrave Macmillan, Towards a Just and Ecologically Sustainable Peace. This last slide is an advertisement. Okay, so thank you all for your interest. I hope what I said made much sense. If it doesn't make any sense, to you, blame the organizer for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaiwat. Very cheeky. Thank you. Really, thank you. That was very thought-provoking. You certainly made me think, I hadn't thought about how breathing in, we're breathing in others, and your talk highlights how connected we all are and how important it is to connect to our own bodies, but also be aware of our connection to each other. So we want to hear your thoughts as well and generate ideas that can be shared with the wider peace community. So in a moment, you'll be put into breakout rooms and we will assign you to a breakout room. You will have a facilitator and the facilitator will have a few questions to ask you. And together you'll be working together to come up with some answers to those questions. Now, really to get the most out of these discussions, I please ask that you start off by introducing yourself briefly by saying your name and where you're based. We encourage everyone in the smaller breakout rooms, if you can, to turn your video on. It makes it easier to connect with each other. If you can't, no problem. And, we ask, like I said, there will be notes that you can type into. So we ask that you type your ideas into the breakout group notes that are going to be posted in the chat with your facilitator's name. In about, before the session is over, please agree as a group, what's the one key point you would like to share with the rest of the people in the opening plenary? Because when we come back, you will get the opportunity to share that key point with the rest of the opening plenary. So let me just have a look. Are we ready to go with the breakout rooms?
Yes, I'm opening.
Okay. Fantastic.
Hi, Francis. Hi, Salah. I'm going to assign you to breakout room number 4. You would get a little window saying take you there. Hello, everybody. People are in the breakout rooms. It will close in about 2 minutes, so please stay on.